We're in a race to 1 million views on our YouTube Shorts channel. This is how we're gonna do it.
Oh, baby. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I like the sensationalism.
It was like 50% of what I thought it would be.
It's funny that we sit here and we do the hook, and it's a good hook, and it's a good title and thumbnail, and then I just roast you for it. And we're right back into the pod.
Yes,
just
dude.
like that.
Hey, Belky, I got a lot of fun, dude.
I got none, so woo, take me. Take me.
Not to tennis, dude. Don't want to talk about it. Hey, all right. So here's my one. I had a blast last night. I don't get blast very often. It was like a mild blast, but I was right there, naked on the floor at 3 a.m.
Not a blast like having fun. A rocket ship brain blast.
I mean, that's a lot of fun for me. I mean, you'll see me and I'm just like this, but it's a lot of fun.
Wait, yeah. What was I doing? I was doing some. Oh no, I was asleep. I went to bed and I woke up with 109 messages, and that's when I'm like, oh no. It's an oh no, oh yes.
Hold on. I think Paddy was like, you're supposed to do the first 30 seconds. I just did the first 3 seconds.
You're here, baby. Stick around.
Fuck.
We got the
We're
hook.
Shorts, dude. We're Shorts. This
hook.
is season of Shorts. We're diving deep into Shorts. The beauty is a short is a TikTok, is an Instagram reel, is a Twitter video. It's everything, so you get the icing on the cake. And yeah, I was blasting last night because I saw all the lines cross and
that's
coming
gonna
together.
Yeah.
What?
Microphone in the knees, talking up here. That's gonna work.
I actually, when I watch videos, I put my phone. Oh, easy knock knees. I watch videos like this all the time.
Really?
Yeah, just
Doing Kegels. So for the YouTube
keep
viewers,
it real
for
tight.
the audio viewers, rather, Dylan does Kegels to watch YouTube videos. That's new.
Yeah, I gotta learn. I gotta study because I almost know for a fact that I'll beat you.
Whoa, it's probably true, actually.
Wait, here's the thing. One, you have a part-time job, so I can't fault you there. You're at a 50%
I wrote
disadvantage.
a sick memo today.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That goes out to shareholders. Oh wait,
No.
it's for the team.
Pay review for July 1st. Every 6 months. July 1st, January 1st.
Hey, I used to be a part of that.
Hey,
Just let me know what happens if I get paid more or not.
You were in the discussions before that.
Hey, no, what I wanted to say though, okay, so right now you just said, I'll probably beat you. One, because fucking Darren had a banger this morning.
Dude.
But here's the thing. Yesterday, because I'm just assuming this identity now that I'm a TikToker. So I'm just telling everybody I'm a TikToker. It's like my thing.
How many followers? 104?
I actually think TikTok, that video we posted, it's only gotten like 3 views. They just don't pump it to anybody.
Yes.
So I was like, sick. But I told my girlfriend yesterday,
He's got
we need a dumb nonsense episode on that. Yeah, Belky, you also said the other day, it's like, what if I was that guy that just almost like girlfriend dropped like every couple minutes? Just like, oh yeah, you're really good at actually my girlfriend's sick at tennis, and
because you did it like 3 times.
Oh, you're making
in a
pizza,
row.
dude? My girlfriend ate pizza last week. But my girlfriend, I was like, hey, I'm a TikToker now. She's like, oh, that's awesome. Like kind of being supportive and stuff.
She looks around the place. She's like,
Well, she's wondering why there's a fucking giant green screen in the middle of the room.
well, and also like if you're a TikToker now, this could all evaporate.
Oh, like
She's like, so you're a
She's just like,
TikToker now, huh?
really struggling out there, wondering why you're just in the pool all day. So I tell her this, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be a TikToker. And she's like, okay, sure, that's awesome. And I'm like, yeah, well, actually, Henry is too. And we're in a competition, and I'm going to smash him. Her absolute first reaction, she looks at me, and she just goes, I was like, fuck. It's not
We
this
gotta
one.
grow up.
She's like, you're going to beat Henry? And I'm like,
Oh,
yeah.
that's what she laughed at?
Yeah, she laughed at the idea of me beating you at TikTok.
Why? Why is that funny? I thought she was laughing at us both being like TikTokers now. That's funny.
That's dirt. But when I showed her a short or like a couple shorts of yours and already had like 1,000 or 2,000 views or something, and I was like, okay, and you're a vlogger, you've been vlogging for 2 years, and I'm like, I've never recorded myself on a screen. And
season of shorts started on Monday, and you posted your first clip today, Thursday.
no, dude,
midday.
July 1st through August 1st. That's the month I'm counting. But also, so dude,
Paddy Galloway is so fucked.
I tell her, dude, we'll get, hey, that's at the end of the episode. If you don't know Paddy, he's Mr. Beast YouTube consultant, also consults another like dozen $1 million, everything's dollar. I got fucking ADHD right now, dude. But we had a call with him, $700. He told us strategy on YouTube, but now we're like, do we even need that? We might just rip.
Do you even need coffee, dude?
I don't, dude.
Yes.
Bottle me up for 4 hours in the morning and make me sit outside for 30 minutes staring into the alley, dude.
It's like you'll get this like 4 days a year. It's like one a quarter. Just an absolute gym jamboree day.
I see the vision. It's like Teal. He's like, I just want 3 or 4 good decisions a year. I'm like, oh, that's one of the. that's today. I'm a TikToker. That's it. But I tell my girlfriend this. She laughs, and I'm like, oh, why'd you laugh? She's like, well, like look at Henry. Like he got the pretty face, he got the views, he got everything. And I'm like, but I want to be a TikToker. So she didn't believe me.
I don't have a green screen.
That's my competitive advantage. I got my moat, dude. It's only $175, so you could do it in your new apartment. Okay, so
whoa, dude, you're just dropping stuff everywhere.
What do you want to?
But you can probably do it in your new apartment. That's like a whole different thread. That's
they have this thing in game the dark arts, dude.
Game the wall.
It's kind of improv-y too. You just want to toss threads out there and see where the kittens
dude,
they grab on.
That was a thread. I'm gonna walk past it.
No, dude, I'm a TikToker, content creator. This is part of the art. Okay. One, why are we doing this? I think because there are a couple clients we have that spend a lot of money and don't get any results. And we'll see them like post threads on Twitter that are super long and then have our video at the end. There's one person in particular I'm thinking of. But like
he's crushing it on TikTok.
Right. But yeah, now crushing it, but before wasn't. But basically spending all this energy doing something that's just not working. And what we've noticed about this thing called product market fit, as in people like what you're putting out and are like begging you to put it out. It's exactly that. If people aren't begging you to put it out, like you get 1-2 likes on a video or no one's watching it, you're probably doing something wrong. So that was us for like 2 years, especially your 2-year video dropped like 2 days ago.
Oh my God, thread. Yeah.
And
this was a video I recorded 2 years ago and scheduled it to go live yesterday.
Right.
Yesterday.
And it's like,
Haven't seen it since.
Studio's empty. It's, I don't know, just confused. Like, you don't know what you want to do yet. And
oh, my pizza's ready. Keep talking, please.
I mean, this is just, hey, I took over, this is my personal account now, too. This is doing, Smart Nonsense is now doing Jardon. I took that over.
Keep going, please.
I know, I forget, what was I even talking about?
Good looking pizza.
Were you listening?
Hot.
Dude, my mind is just a giant kitten.
No, we're back, baby. We're back. The pizza is out of the oven. I put that 2-year video out.
Okay. Right. So 2 years. Definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over, expecting different results. That's what your vlog felt like. That's what this podcast felt like. We've barely ever cracked like 500 views on any of it. So we're like, okay, granted, we kind of like rationalized it as we haven't spent time optimizing. We knew what to do more or less. I don't even know if that's true. But
yeah, we wrote it off as, and it was, the daily diary. We just do it for fun. We're focused on building our business, not this other content thing.
And so
all that was true.
There was this video podcast we had like 2 or 3 months ago, 7 days to bankrupt. And in those 7 days, we're trying to sell our entire company to Morning Brew. I mean, you should watch that whole thread. It's a disaster. But Alex Lieberman, who is now a client actually and popping off, but may not be a client because it's not our specialty.
Pod.
There's so many threads. But basically, he was like, guys, if you're trying to sell us, like you have the answer to virality for all of our podcasts and brand accounts on social media. Why do you have 100 views?
That's a great thread, Pop.
It's like, that's a really great point. So we're like, okay, there's this cognitive dissonance of we're preaching one thing, but not actually like backing it up. Cause like if we were to do something, why wouldn't you build your own personal brand? Like that would help more than anything else. But we're focused on the money. Like let's just go from 0 to 1 basically. And now a little over a year into the company, we're almost at $2 million a year in revenue, from like 0 to 1.7 million or whatever it comes out to, 150,000 a month, which is pretty nuts. So now for the first time, I think we actually feel like our team sold out for the most part. We're like, okay, we can actually focus on our personal brands if we want. Because we have enough money to both fund like a serious effort with the personal brand, plus like not be stressed out about whether we're gonna go bankrupt in 7 days.
Correct.
Do you want to pipe in? I've just been fucking ripping.
No, rip, dude.
Okay, so now like I've been kind of like, hey, Belky, I think we've reached that like tipping point where we can now focus on the personal brands. But
I'll also say too, we like blitz scaled in January, and we hired as fast as we possibly could for something. I don't even know what it was for or what we thought. Oh, it's like for a marketplace type of deal. And so we had 20 teammates who were just free, kind of on standby, but just barely working on stuff in January. And that's all just money we're hemorrhaging out of our own pockets to keep those people on our team because they're so good.
It was like $20,000 a month or something we were directly paying.
And just now, July 1st.
Oh, what am I talking about? It was double that because we were paying $2,000 a month per person and we had like 20 extra. It was 40 grand a month we were just losing.
And now, like today, July 1st, we hit 150,000 MRR. All of those people are seated with clients working on projects. And it's like, whoa, we can breathe again.
I just realized we shot a podcast like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago that we didn't release because it was really dark.
Oh,
we were questioning everything with the team again.
I don't even remember.
It was just like, oh, we want to sell virality, but our team doesn't know how to time cut. And we're like, time cut is the key to going viral if you have a podcast. But we finally, like today, it really sunk in for me. It clicked. But like the last week or so, we realized, oh, time cutting, that's not their thing. Like it takes like you have to understand the niche to be able to do that.
And again, that is like cutting down a 6-minute segment into a 1-minute clip. That's what we call time cutting.
Thank you for so they couldn't do that. So I'm like, oh, that's our business. That's what we want to do. That's what we need for the podcast to go viral. But then we realize it's like, maybe that's not it. Like I time cut a few, and then they're like the Wim Hof. I think I time cut, or someone actually. I think Chris time cut.
And we were testing this for weeks, like blind testing this. Like
just the
can
time
these
cut.
people cut this? Dylan's gonna throw a bunch in the ring, and then I'm gonna rate them, and like who did what, and
it was chaos. And then we finally realized we're like, oh, when they're given a good time cut, and we tell them like, hey, I just like this style, this big weird world. Like, can you copy that or make it look like Crash Course History or something like that? Make it dope, and just go wild. They went wild,
right?
And it's Wim Hof is like now popping off as one of our videos. It's just,
and that's the paradigm shift where like our underlying assumption that time cutting is the 80%, that you have to get that right, was so completely false. It's like that was a hypothesis. We test. It ended up being false. And now we're at a place with Season of Shorts where we're like, oh, wait a minute. If you skip over the time cut, if you make short form content that's scripted, now you're operating on a completely different 80-20.
It's funny because we've always been against scripted. I don't really know why.
We thought scripting things was harder. We're like, if we just shoot this podcast and we hand it off to editors, they can just repurpose stuff. Well, turns out time cutting and repurposing, really freaking hard to get right. To get really right for short form.
But really easy for us.
Really easy for us. Because you just dump content.
And we know storytelling for the most part. Granted,
hilarious.
the first 30 seconds of this episode was bad. But like, watch our TikToks, our clips that are going out, our shorts. We understand like, hook them in the first couple of seconds and then just like keep engaged throughout. And we get the formula. We just wanted them to apply it and it doesn't make sense. And then we started like, can we outsource strategy to them? No, maybe we hire someone from like Paddy's team, which is a whole another thread we'll get into. But like, at the end of the day, we just want to build a company where it's just us two ripping. Well, if it's just us two ripping, what if we did the scripting, we did our own time cuts, and we just sent it to them, and they worked their magic with the animating?
You mean...
Holy shit, the animators animate.
You mean... And how many times have we done this where it's like, the marketplace people... Sorry, the agency people we hired don't want to be on a marketplace? Oh, the animators we hired don't want to just edit time cuts?
Right. It's so
like, how dumb can you be?
We had a basic, like, we call it World War Smart Nonsense in January at the start of the year. You can see podcasts on that. We didn't even film that much because it was so depressing. I'm like just getting back into Slack. It's been 6 months and I just had PTSD. But
it's like, I can't be CEO. Go.
Right. I'm like, Henry, I mean, granted, it was the right call because I just can't do that stuff. But it was like, we tried to force them like square into a round hole or whatever it is. And we finally realized, hey, play to their strengths. Don't force someone to do something, and then we'll just like figure it out. And it kind of worked perfectly with us. One thing I want to say on questioning assumptions too, because it's something I want to get better at. I was watching Naval and Matt Mottry, who's Naval's like CEO coach, and Naval's like, "Oh, I'm the only one that can run this company because like I understand every part of it, and plus like I sell well and all this stuff." And Matt's like, "Oh, sorry, I fucked up that story." It was basically like, "I'm sad. I don't like being CEO." And he's like, "Okay, well, why are you CEO then?" It's like, "Well, because I'm the only one that can do it." He's like, "Well, why is that?" And then he explained all that stuff. And he's like, "I think people can learn that pretty quick. Well, you don't have to be the person." So they're questioning assumptions. The cooler questioning assumption story, which I made a TikTok on yesterday, so watch the fuck out. It was the Evernote founder. He talked to Elon Musk. And Evernote founder, like, he always grew up wanting to go to Mars. I think they had it in like, I don't know. There was some show back in the day where they had like people going to Mars. He's like, "I want to do that." He talks to Elon. He's like, "Yo, Elon, I want to go to Mars." Elon's like, "Yeah, dope. Well, we can make that happen. Let's go." And then soon after, that same Evernote founder, he talks to Jeff Bezos. Oh yeah. I sent you this probably a couple times. And Jeff Bezos, he basically tells him the story to Jeff. He's like, "Yeah, I want to go to Mars. It'd just be awesome to like help the future of humanity." And Jeff Bezos is like, "Mars is stupid. Why would you go to Mars? Like the whole point of what we're doing with space is to beat gravity. So why would you go to another gravity? Like just have space stations and just mine asteroids and go through the universe." It's like, that's a really good point, Jeff.
If you've left Earth, why would you go to another gravity? It's like,
So I'm just like, okay, if that's like challenging assumptions is so critical, and this gets back to like what we're doing in shorts and why we want to do it. But it's like Elon is building a company and like wants to move humanity to Mars. But all of his efforts, the smartest man in the world, the richest man in the world, all of that is going to something that might not be the smartest thing to do. Like he could just waste all of his time because he hasn't thought it through properly. Because he just assumed, "Oh yeah, we should just go to another planet in the solar system."
right.
So why do I get into this? I'm like, in our pursuit of, okay, how do we actually like grow online? Because it is fun doing this. Like we could shoot podcasts for years and years. And Paddy Galloway, when he talked to him, he's like, "You're one of the few people that I actually think you don't care about growing," which is fucking absurd because you haven't grown in 2 years and you're still doing it. We're like, all right, maybe it's time we actually try and do something that we like to do and also grows. So where do I get into this? So
and
it's like
the company is stable.
Right. So that's like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We finally got above like stressing about money month to month. I think we've had it for this probably all like 16 months that we've been in existence.
Probably the entire time, yeah.
So finally, like we can breathe and now actually think about things clearly. And scaling an agency is hard. We're like, what's easy to scale? Well, Naval says either code, which we don't know how to code, so that's probably harder, or media. And media we get. Like that is our literal company. So I'm like, let's just double down on media, 10x that, and become TikTokers. What it's like.
That's how we got here.
Hey, dude, I didn't even get to my first bullet point of why. So this
Why
is
what?
why we want to like go viral in general.
Okay.
Why
so
we want to
be
shorts. Yeah, right. So why are we doing this?
And what is this? What is the season of shorts?
So one assumption pretty much everyone has is like, I want to be known. I want to be a celebrity. Everyone grows up like just envying celebrities. But then a lot of people are like, it's better to be rich and unknown than known and poor, which a lot of TikTokers are, or like new celebrities. And there's this Derek Sivers, he talks, it kind of sucks for you because you probably hear this constantly, but we're just beating it in. With Derek Sivers is asked by Tim Ferriss. So Derek Sivers had this, has this book, Anything You Want, and it's basically like creating your dream company. It can be anything you want. So like, don't follow any rules or whatever people tell you to do because this is your baby. Just like make what you want. Hey, CD Baby, that's his company, or it was his company. But basically, Tim Ferriss asked Derek Sivers, he's like, when I say success, who do you think of? Or actually, I think he asked it in a more interesting way. He's like, when I say success, who's the third person you think of? Because usually like the first one or two are like just top of mind. They're like the most just like recency bias, or maybe you just saw
Steve Jobs, Elon Musk.
Right.
Yeah, it's
like who's the third person? So I forget who he says for the first two, but his third is like Richard Branson. What was Richard? He's the Virgin guy. So like Virgin Galactic, Virgin Airlines, everything. He's
Virgin
just like
Music.
Billionaire, lives a super fun life. But then he's like, actually, when I think about it more, like, yeah, he is successful. But how are you measuring success? It's like from he's making a lot of money and like working all the time, but it's like creating awesome things. He's successful. But if he just wanted to live like a loner life and read books all day and like just make enough money to kind of learn on the side, he's a complete failure.
right.
It's like, I can't say he's successful without knowing what he was trying to succeed in. It's probably he wanted to do what he's doing, but a lot of people kind of get in this sand trap that we talk about a lot, where they're just like, oh, I want to follow norms. Like Peter Thiel's like, yo, don't follow the herd. Most people follow the herd. So they're just like, I want to work on Wall Street. I want to make a lot of money. But they don't know actually why. So do you want to jump in? I'm sorry, I'm fucking ripping.
No.
Okay.
I'm just trying to follow your little baby bird threads.
Okay, I'm getting through the why. So basically, I'm like, okay, do we want to actually be successful? Like, do we want to be a $1 billion company? No, but we want to just work together. Like, what was that quote I sent you this morning? It was like, I just want to find the people I love and like love working with them.
Do life with the people you love.
Right.
I think that was from My First Million. Or Sean got it from someone he worked with.
It's like, if your success metric is you find people you love and you do life with them, meaning like you work with them, you play tennis in the morning with them, you go on vacation with them, like that's the best life you could ever live. So that's success. And Branson's probably failing in that because you have to leave people behind if you have meetings all day. It's like, yeah, we're more successful than him in that case. So I don't know, I'm losing track of all my threads, but basically I think success for us is working together, just us two, which means we should pursue media leverage if we want to have like a comfortable life. I think we've thought about it a lot, and we want like 10 to 20 million each so that we can really like not have any stress and our lifestyle can continue just off like interest in the market. So how do we get there? One, we're already on a good track with the company, but you also don't want to sell a company. Dude, this is like weeks and weeks of podcast all coming into one. But like, you sell a company, a lot of people say when they sell it, it's like, what do you do the next day? You have a shitload of money in your bank account, but now you have no friends. Like, that's who you're hanging out with most of the time. You have no purpose in life. It's like, that's the most depressing years, the year after you sell. So, okay, maybe we don't want to sell.
Right. I'm having a ball. Wait, I have a point on the company thing. My mom talks about this a lot. It's like, oh, you're 25 years old. You should be saving and investing your money. And I forget who I was listening to, but they're like, no, if you're building a company, the returns you get just investing every single thing into that company,
right,
you're talking 50% year over year, 60%, 70%, 100% year over year. You're not going to get that anywhere else. So that's where like I put everything on credit cards. I feel like we spend everything, but it's all going into this beast that is just compounding.
That's
unlike anything you could save for or invest
That's
in.
why anytime, I think it was I don't know if it was Chris, it was Chris Sacca. So Chris Sacca, 95% sure it was him. He's basically like talking to, actually, I think it was on, what's that podcast where the podcaster started a company? Startup or whatever it's called.
Oh, Alex, Gimlet Media, Alex, some shit.
Right. So he was talking to Chris Sacca, and somewhere in that podcast, he asked about profitability, and maybe they were like, "Oh yeah, we're making a little bit of profit, and yeah, we're like a profitable company." Chris is like, "Don't be profitable."
Right.
The fuck? If you're building something great, the returns on any money you put back into the business should be 100x what you'd make anywhere else. That's where I'm like, oh shit, we shouldn't be profitable at all.
Right.
Because now, before maybe, but now I see the vision where, and we'll get into the vision, but it's like, we should have a team of like 20 just focus on our brands.
Right.
Because now I'm like, I feel that this is on the path to product market fit. I think we're already there. We just haven't like released it to the world. That's why I'm so confident in the 1 million views in 1 month.
Gary Vee would say like the same too. He's like, pay yourself minimum viable, whatever, put everything back into your business.
Thiel was talking about Zuck. And so Peter Thiel was the first outside investor in Facebook. He put in like 500,000 for maybe like 9% or something like that. So became a billionaire from that. But he's saying how there was the infamous offer, or like the famous offer where Facebook was offered, I think, $1 billion. I don't know if it was from Yahoo or from whom.
Microsoft, maybe?
One of the top companies to offer $1 billion to Facebook, to Zuckerberg. And they had to have a board meeting because this is like $1 billion. You offer that. So they all get in the room. It's like Peter, Zuck, and one other investor. I forget who it was. But Zuck gets to the meeting and everyone's like, okay, we got to get prepared to like figure this out. Are we going to take it or not? Zuck gets in. He's like, hey, I know we just like have to meet. This is just like written in the contract, but we should be out in 10 minutes. Like, you guys want to do it? Because this is stupid, right? Trying to build like a $100 billion company. Why would he take this? And Peter Thiel went into the meeting like, oh, we should probably take this.
We should counter it.
Right,
let's
right.
get 2, let's get 3.
And it was just like, what is that word? It's a formality. Like, this meeting is a formality when you're offered $1 billion. That's the sort of attitude that I now have about what we're doing. Like, if someone offered us all this money for our company, I'm like, no, you're taking away our machine.
Right.
And it's going to build something great that it would take us another year and a half to build a machine like this.
Right.
So you couldn't buy this company from me right now, or from us.
And if you're operating off that principle, then there's no reason to have that meeting.
But you have to have that vision.
Right.
And you have to see it clearly. Now I'm like, we were lost. Everything was foggy. But now I'm like, oh, we're starting to see glimmers. Okay. So I want to get into like how. That's the why. I guess I didn't really say like why, but basically like leverage.
Oh, the why was, well, it's a lot. We've been thinking about like, do we want to be famous?
Oh.
How much money do we want to make? Do we sell this company? Do we build it to be amazing? And we've settled on this point where it's like, it's time to build our personal brands. The company is healthy. The company is our engine.
Right.
For all of these things, and we can turn it into something great over time.
My concern.
That was unclear for a long time.
Tim Ferriss, he has this blog about chasing celebrity. I forget what it's called. But he's like, hey, everyone puts this on a pedestal. Everyone's like, the herd's going after it. But here's like the downside of it. And it's where, he's getting stalkers and like, yeah, sure. Say you're in a small town. Like, say you're in Providence where we went to school. Yeah, most people in Providence are good, but there's probably like 10 crazy people just because it's like, I don't know, 400,000 people in the city. That's your audience. So 99.9% of your audience is awesome, but you have 10 lunatic murderers. And now you're on the pedestal. They're coming after you. So you got to have that in your mind. It's like, once you get the celebrity, it's really hard to uncelebrity. Like, you can't put the genie back in the bottle. So I just wanted to really think it through, and I'm like, okay, yeah, it probably sucks with stalkers, but I don't know. That's not a big concern. Like, even the Ethereum guy, Vitalik, he doesn't have bodyguards or anything. He's worth billions. I think what we want, at least what I saw that was cool, was like when people recognize you at All In Conference, they're like, oh, or All In Summit, or Sax's party, it's like, oh, you're Henry Belcaster? Like, I've heard your name. And it's like that sort of recognition. I just like that idea, especially like with smart people you respect, or I don't know.
Right, so a niched celebrity.
Right. Which,
like Tim Urban, we would recognize him. Everyone at All In Summit would recognize him, but nobody's going to bother him in an airport.
And that's so amazing.
Yeah, probably the same for Tim Ferriss.
Tim Ferriss is
a little bit more recognizable.
But Elon Musk would. If Elon Musk can recognize you, I want that, whatever that is, but no one else.
Yeah.
Okay, so we want to chase it. Now it's like, what do we do? One thing, kind of talked about this before, like we've been doing it for 2 years with this podcast or your vlog. It's like, Naval says, what do you want to do in life? Just chase your curiosity. Like, wherever you're passionately like staying up till 3 a.m, just like Googling things, like that's what you want to make your career out of. So just focus on whatever you're obsessed with, go full bore on that. Okay, what do I do all day? It's like listening to podcasts, reading books. We both do this. Watching YouTube videos, being on Twitter. Like, we're just absorbing constantly. Literally all day long. I'm like, okay, that has to do with that. And then Naval also says, one of our animations, Nico, the animator, made this, and it has like, I don't know, 1 point something million views on Instagram. It's escape the competition through authenticity. And so everyone out here is competing on TikTok and like all trying to be celebrities, basically. Even I went out on Friday or Saturday with Yuri, and we went out to the clubs, and I'm like, dude, I fucking hate this so much. Like, I worked as like a pickup artist or whatever for like 2 years, and it still sucks. Like, I have an advantage in theory with talking to girls or like talking to people in general at clubs, but it's miserable.
It sucks so bad.
It's like, I just feel like I'm like 10% better. I'm like, why do people do it? Oh, once you get a boyfriend, girlfriend, you never go out to clubs, so it makes no sense. But I'm like, I don't want to play this game. That's why I got into like they call it day game, or like meeting people in the street or like in a cafe or like whatever it is. I'm like, oh, no one's doing that. So I'll escape the competition, just what I like doing. I don't like going to clubs. I like, I don't know, walking around town. So same thing here. It's like, let's just create some media around what we already do. Plus this kind of like connects to Peter Thiel. He talks a lot about competition sucks. It's for losers. So just avoid it at every possible way. And then,
which is so true, by the way. Like when we were lost the last 3 months,
yeah,
it was because we were considering competing
or
with
Lieberman
different
too.
people. What do you mean?
Why we're kind of getting booted from leader?
Yeah, it's like every time we're having trouble, it's because we're competing with somebody else. And when we stay away from that, we don't ever even talk about competition or who's doing something similar or how we're going to beat out this. It's super true.
So basically, Peter Thiel says competition for losers. Another thing he says is like, whatever your timeline, say it's like, oh, I don't know, when we're talking about what do we want to sell as a product, like, oh, we're selling a brand in 2 years. Like, one that sucks to like sell as a product, because like, who wants to wait 2 years? We also waited 2 years and we haven't gotten results. Ali Abdallah is preaching this, like, that's how you grow on YouTube. Like, Peter Thiel is like, well, you want to do it in 2 years? Why not 2 weeks? Like, what if you just thought outside the box? What would it look like? And now I put out one short today, and it's gotten more views than all my videos in like the last month.
Really?
Or like long form video, like podcast videos.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, I don't know, 30 hours of watch time in the first 1 hour. 30 hours on a 1 minute clip.
Yeah.
In the first hour. Like, I just put it out.
Yeah.
Which is fucking nuts. So it's like, we just didn't have product
I had
market
the
fit.
same realization yesterday. I was like, so my channel's at 1,000 subscribers. You need 4,000 watch hours to get monetized. And I've had like 1,500 because I make these short vlogs. I'm like, I'm never going to get there. It's just going to take forever, whatever. I don't care. I put out these shorts yesterday. It gets 2,000 views. I see 15 watch hours. I'm like, 15 watch hours on something that took me 4 minutes to do? And I can put out 10 of those a day? And
well, that's like the big realization for me was the content is all the same. Like, we just talked about that stuff on the podcast or your vlog. The only thing that's changed is the packaging.
package different.
Just different packaging. It's like, oh my God, we're just trying to force that square into the round hole. I hope it's not the other way around, because that's, I don't know.
Square peg, round hole, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, finally this realization, like, let's just focus on short form. But hold on. I got a couple more. Okay. So I texted you my brain blast last night. One thing that's kind of been like in the back of my head for a while, ever since going to All In Summit and listening to Elon speak, big people talk in degrees. Fuck, what is it?
Orders?
Orders of magnitude.
Try again. Hey, come on, try again.
Big people, we don't
No
do clips
edits.
for this.
There's no
Big
edits.
people talk in orders of magnitude.
Right.
Which
What's an
none of our
example?
friends do. Like, I never hear orders of, I haven't heard it until listening to billionaires speak.
Like, what's an example?
Okay, so he's like, how do you succeed as SpaceX? Well, NASA's already putting out spaceships or whatever, like the Russians are, and it costs like $100 million to go up or to like put an astronaut, whatever it costs. He's like, if I'm going to compete with them, I have to be an order of magnitude better, aka at least 10 times better or cheaper in this case. So that's exactly what I think he brought it down like a fucking 100x by this point by using reusable rockets. So same thing. It's like basically anytime you're trying to outdo an incumbent who has all the inertia, all the momentum, all the customers already, you got to be 10 times better.
Better, faster, cheaper.
Yeah, whatever it is. Ideally, like Bezos's thing is like, what are people going to want another 10 years from now with Amazon? He's like, yeah, better, faster, cheaper. Like, people want that.
And what do most people do then, right? It's like most people and most of our friends, us growing up, it's like everyone looks at competition and then tries to be 10% better.
Right.
marginally better. Like, oh, there's that politician on the right. I'm going to come in on the left and just be 10% better.
Right.
And it's like, that's not an order of magnitude.
Right. And that's where everyone's competing. So Astro Teller, the thing I was sent you yesterday, Astro Teller, he is the Google X head. I think he's like head of Moonshot. I forget his title, but they're just pursuing moonshots, which is something that's radically different, at least 10x better. And that's why they're like trying to put those, like not blimps. So what do you call those? You were
Shorts?
No, the things.
Balloons?
Balloons, like balloons for Wi-Fi or like connecting people. I don't know. They have all these like moonshot ideas. And he's saying like, why pursue moonshots? Well, one, exactly what you said. Everyone is competing for that 10% edge. And that's also like what Peter Thiel says is everyone's trying to like globalize and like make it a little bit 10% cheaper by like going to Asia or whatever it might be. It's like, no, we want to go 0 to 1 on some completely new idea. So one, no one's competing there. Two, it's like with Elon, take Elon and Tesla. He couldn't compete with any of the existing car companies as a gas car because there are 5,000 moving parts. And it's like, there's just too much, technically speaking. They've had hundreds of years of, or 100 years of like head start on him. So he's got to do something radically different from the ground up, which is, do an electric car, which no one's doing well. And I can beat them there. So one, it's like, do a different approach altogether. And the third one is like, with the moonshots, you'll get 10, 100x returns on it, but it's often not 10 or 100 times harder.
Correct.
Which literally with our packaging right now, it's like, oh, we're going to spend a couple hours a day shooting a podcast. Why don't we just do that doing shorts?
Right.
Or TikTok.
And also, if you take that 10x moonshot and you don't hit, you're still 8 times better than everybody else. 6 times better than everybody else. It's the classic, like,
if it works.
Shoot for the stars, land on the clouds.
And also, okay, another one. Richard Branson, who, the Virgin Galactic guy.
Dude, what if we just spent an entire podcast saying quotes?
That's my TikTok, dude.
Saying like adages off of one another. It's like I say an adage, you take one word, come up with another adage, and then it's just like
this is literally like
a podcast full of axioms.
The top axioms of our last 2-3 weeks a month. Just all
okay,
together.
Richard Branson.
So this is where kind of on
adage.
the thread of like being 10% better. That's where all the competition is. It's like people when there's that fierce competition, like everything's really hard because you're just competing with everybody. That's where you want to push through, because at that point when it's hardest, that's when everyone gives up, which has felt like the last 3 months for us. It's just like shit's been so hard, like paying payroll through credit cards or like literally like trying to sell the company just to like keep, I don't know, our ambitions alive. All this stuff we push through, and now we make this big discovery, which I think is like, I have so much belief in us being successful there. That's like most people give up, so just like push through, and that's where all the competition had died already at that certain point. Okay, so how are we going to succeed though? So why am I so bullish on all of this stuff? Because if you want to be 10 times better, that's like fucking really crazy to do. We have a different approach to this competition. Your approach, well, you want to say your approach?
Oh, the season of shorts approach? Yeah. So what is the season of shorts? We basically said, screw like basically all the long form stuff we're doing. That's a distraction. There is this viral engine right now. It's YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Instagram Reels. Yeah, those.
And they're all competing.
And they're all competing with each other.
Right.
So YouTube like is scared of TikTok. So no wonder they're just pushing their shorts. So we're like, oh, what if we took all of our time, repackaged everything we're doing, and just post shorts?
Right.
That's where we're at.
Just really focus. Like the one thing, I love Peter Thiel. He's like, yo, just focus on one thing. You have one thing. That's all I care about. Like you come to me with anything else, I'm gonna not even talk to you. Like tell me about the one thing. It's season of shorts. Like tell me about shorts, how to get better shorts. That's what we care about. So yeah, everyone's doing this. And yeah, what's your strategy for like, how do you, I don't know if it's obvious from my question, but like, what's your strategy versus my strategy
like
for
quantity?
Season of shorts? Yeah.
Yeah. So my strategy is basically, how can we take the things we're naturally curious about, podcasts, books, learning, consuming, and sell those byproducts?
Right.
Right. So I read a ton every day. I probably read 2 or 3 books a week. and I highlight things in my Kindle. They blast into a Notion page and store all of my notes. And then I get an email every day with those notes so I can revisit them. And I'm like, how can I sell these byproducts? Let me just make, it's actually your idea. Let me just make shorts about book bites, business book bites. It's all in the same niche: entrepreneurship, startups, business.
Hey, don't blame me for losing the competition.
Right. Right. So it's like, let me win this competition through quantity. Right. I get an email of 10 book bites every single day. I can make 10 shorts a day, and we will just blast them.
Right. And I took a slightly different approach. I'm like, okay, I'll take longer, I'll shoot fewer, and we'll spend 2 days on them each. And so I'll take the quality approach because I think that's where we really stand out. Like, no one can really do that. I texted you last night. This was my big realization. So I'm like, maybe how many people can do like business, a lot of quantity with still good editing? Maybe there are like 100 creators that can do what you're doing. Maybe like 100 creators that can do like the Vox level that I want to do, or like the crash course. But what if we went crazy? Like, those are kind of 10% improvements in my mind. But what if we combine the two? Which is something no one else in the world can do. Like, I look at Cleo Abram, for example. She's kind of the Vox, independent creator that's just putting out pretty much viral content every single time. I'll get like 1 million views or something every TikTok. I look at her, and she's posting basically 2 times a week.
2 times a week?
Yeah.
And Cody Sanchez is posting 2 times a week.
Right.
And she's doing more of the quantity approach like me.
Right. So I'm like, if she's posting 2 times a week, what's the order of magnitude better? 20 times a week. If I can do the same quality as Cleo, or we can do that, and 10 times as much quantity, where you're not penalized for quantity on any of these platforms because it's great content, that's how you completely destroy any incumbents. Like, Cleo is just toast. She can't compete.
Literally,
no one can compete.
If you're just scrolling in the feed, your video will come up 10 times more times.
Right.
Your videos will come up.
So I'm like, okay, we just spent this 1.5 years getting 60 animators, which before we didn't know the purpose for. Now we figured out, we script videos and we have them animate that, and it's totally hands off. They just come out like this morning. The animation was absolutely insane. Blew me away. It's like it could be a whole school lesson in this TikTok. So that's where I'm like, Belky.
It was crazy.
Can you imagine, like, this is kind of my vision. We talk about like, how do you compete as a startup? You want to compete on vision. Like, Elon is going to Mars. Very tangible. Like, you can only go there to fulfill that mission. Like, smart nonsense, granted, we don't really want to grow it, but it's like, what is our mission that is unlike any other? It's like, I think us two, sitting on this couch, we can be bigger than Vox, we can be bigger than CNN, we can be bigger than any educational news outlet in the world. Just with us two and the team we already have.
Certainly in business.
Crush
and
everybody.
Beyond, yeah.
20 clips, like, literally, 20 clips a week. What is that? 5 days a week working, that's 4 shorts a day, 4 TikToks a day.
We're
if they take
doing that.
4 minutes or 30 minutes, we could do 10 times that if we wanted to. Like, if this was an actual job, granted, I liked like easy lifestyle, but if we wanted to work 10-hour days like an average startup person, which is probably on the low end too, 10-hour days, if at most it's taking 30 minutes to shoot one, now you get 20 a day versus 20 a week. It's like,
now it's 100 times.
I'm like, dude, no one can compete with us. And no one has, like, Cleo, maybe she found one editor in like Kansas that she can just pay like enough and like put out videos twice a week. We can employ all the Philippines. I'm like, this is unstoppable. So that's why I'm fucking gassed out my wazoo right now, because I'm like, okay, we decided. Why do we want to become celebrities? Because we just want to be like recognized, like be the Tim Urban. Elon Musk recognize us. Okay, now that we're doing that, how do we make sure we're the absolute best in the world? It's like Naval's 4th level of luck. Like, there's usually like blind luck, which is you just get luck. I forget all the lucks.
Adage, baby.
The 4th luck.
Add the adage.
I kind of want to know the lucks, but the 4th luck is people come to you because you're the only one in the world that can do it.
I could give you all the lucks. You want all the lucks?
Give me the lucks.
1 is dumb luck. People just get that from time to time. 2 is the luck you get from motion, from doing a bunch of shit, trying a bunch of things, running into matter, basically. 3
is the hard one.
3 is the really hard one because I think it's
rare.
3
is like you have niche knowledge I don't know what they call it.
Specific knowledge?
It's like you see something that other people don't see.
Okay, so you're a startup founder that's got some intuition about the future.
Right, you get crypto better than other people.
Okay, that's a type of luck.
I don't know what the
And 4 is people come to you with their luck. So somebody finds a sunken treasure chest in the ocean. Nobody can recover it. You happen to be the best scuba diver in the world that can go to that depth. They bring that treasure chest to you to go dive for.
Right, which we could do. We're Paddy certified. But I don't know. They wouldn't let it. But
I thought it was Paddy Galloway.
Easy, Paddy. So yeah, basically we're chasing that. That's what we popped off on Twitter for.
Those types of luck come in order of importance too.
Right.
4 is better than 3. 3 is better than 2. 2 is better than 1.
Well,
and it's not linear.
That's Tim Urban. Like Elon Musk approached Tim Urban because he's like, hey, no one is explaining difficult concepts as well as you on the internet. And you're doing it in a funny way. Like Elon's probably cracking up. We crack up watching him. I'm actually did a TikTok on it yesterday. Hey, I'm shooting TikToks like crazy. I'm going to fucking blow the world out of the water. Hey, do you see that photo of the planet taking over the Pacific?
Yeah.
And it's almost 95% water. It's like, whoa. Thread? Okay.
I still got my pizza, dude. Come on, tie a bow.
No. Okay, I got the bow coming. I got like, basically, we want to do this. We see the path forward. Now I'm in like, how do we prevent failure? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of the way we think about everything. So how do we fail on this? Because basically, I see it as impossible to fail. I'm like, if Zach Untold is going viral and he's putting out once a week,
client of ours, then nobody would know what that means.
Just one of our clients. I'm like, I can smoke this guy, dude. I can smoke him. Talking shit about clients. No, I'm just like really cocky right now. Okay, how do we fail? 1, reality minus expectations equals happiness. So maybe the reality is like, oh, the videos don't actually work. And I get really depressed, or I have like, oh, we're going to get 1 million views and we only get like 100,000 and I seem all depressed. I'm like, okay, dial it back in. That's what happened with tennis. That's why we kind of like don't really like tennis. Right? I like tennis, but not as much as last week because we had high expectations.
Right. At the same time, yes, that is true. But if you're putting out content, like the TikTok you sent today, I hope we roll it, that you're just so proud of, the reality minus expectations isn't dependent on anything else. And like the clip you put out today, I was like, oh my God, that is Clipped Media LLC.
Right.
And like, you can't lose.
It was so clear.
You can't lose. It's so intrinsic. You can't lose.
It's one of those things where you're like, people might think you're crazy, but it's like, you're going to know my name in a year. Like,
well, people think you're crazy because we said that 2 years ago when we'd have 1 million listeners. But
it was different.
Know.
That was like, we didn't know the game.
Yeah.
Now we've just been immersed in the game. I would bet, I was going to say everything in my bank account, but good luck taking that $2,000. I would bet everything we'd make for the next year. So like $1 million.
Oh,
I would bet.
Half that's mine.
I would bet $500,000 that we can make this happen. Like everything.
Yeah.
So, okay. But how do we fail? 1, because I just get like ego, which my girlfriend says I got a really big ego. Really big. Okay, another one.
You gotta focus up.
Another one is I hate shooting, or like we hate shooting.
Yep.
It's like, okay, it's just a lot of friction. Yesterday I had sync issues. It takes me like 3 times as long as it should. That sucks. It's like, okay, how do we just like make sure the tech works well?
Oh yeah. Well, see, I do even less friction than you. Like I don't labor over writing. I go like very minimal friction because I just want to do a lot, and I got a teleprompter, so I can just queue up the things and hit them in one go. I'm
a write out the first line and then just bullet point the rest and kind of wing. It's like I literally know we're gonna succeed because I'm like, my favorite class always has been presentation skills. It's like public speaking classes. I'm just like, oh, I love teaching. Teaching is the shit. I want to do that every day, all day for the rest of my life. I'm like, you can't stop me on TikTok. We got the army. We got the fucking army. It's only if people don't like my personality because I get fucking jazzed up.
Which is funny. So the army is all of our animators. And that's been a team of 20 on the army doing stuff for us, for our personal brands. That was 20 people on the Smart Nonsense Army. We finally have this insight. We start doing season of shorts, and the team sold out.
I don't know how it happened in the last 2 weeks, but somehow you sold out our entire team.
We finally get here, and the army's gone.
Yeah.
So we got to figure that one out.
Last anti-goal that I'm scared about. So 1, ego. 2, hating shooting. 3 is like people troll me, and I'm like, or like troll us, and it's like, oh, this is really depressing. But then it's like, okay, you can turn comments off or not look at them. Just have other people upload, and you're just like, I don't want to like get obsessed with the metrics, because I found myself checking a lot. And I'm like, oh, I see why people get in the hamster wheel there. So avoiding that. But I think those are pretty simple. I'm so bullish.
Yeah, like for the last, I don't know, 3 months, I have seen every single subscriber come in. I go this way. Every single subscriber. It's probably not good.
Last thing I want to talk about, basically we're going to I think I'm going to beat you, and I want to get it to 1 million. But on the other side of like, okay, this personal brand side, for the business, really quick, we talked with Paddy, and we're like, yesterday, this is how quickly we changed with everything, but yesterday we're like, oh, we want to partner with Paddy, who's, again, that amazing consultant. He's the best in the world as a consultant. We're like, oh, that's a complete moat. Like, no one can compete with us if we have the best strategy and the best editors. Like, execution, strategy, it's all there. Best in the world. It's like,
and
okay.
It's funny thinking about that as a media company, thinking about it in terms of code, which is, can we just zoop over to Paddy and API him into our product?
And so we figured out a way, because they're doing a lot of calls. They charge by the hour, but then we're like, oh, don't do calls. Do what we do with async. Just review and frame, which is like a video's here and you can go and leave comments. It's like, do that. He had a clip. That's what he did for Mr. Beast, and it's much easier than getting on a call and going through it together. And you can do it whenever you want. Like, oh, we're going to replace that and basically like 20x Paddy time and like keep the same results. But now I'm like, dude, if we crack short form,
I thought this
so many people in the world just want to crack short form. I think we're going to be the best in the world at short form strategy.
Not even, I had the same thought last night. I was like, what was it? It was just like, well, why can't we just do that? We get it. We can go into frame and offer that strategy, or have a producer offer that strategy.
Well, one thing too with our unique side is we have the business behind it. So if we go viral, now we can tell people things, and it's exactly what they're seeing, because most people see our edits. Like, that's why I want to make them so special too, because like, oh, who edited that? Oh, we edited that. We have a company, and they buy our stuff. But I'm like, kind of bringing Paddy in is like, now it goes from me texting you to now we have a group chat. It's like, I want to see if we can avoid that for all of time.
Right. I do really want to work with Paddy, but I'm on the same wavelength. It's like,
We've gotten so far just questioning everything.
Yeah.
And now, so I'm more like, if we just focus on brand, we're making enough money right now, we're investing everything back into growing it. What if in a month we have 1 million views, in 2 months we have 10 million views, in 3 months we have 100 million views? It's like, okay, now we're objectively the best. And we have a way where it's like, hey, we're not selling what we got. It's just like not an option. We build the course, and then people come in and it's like, hey, you pay, I don't know, agency scales poorly, but like, we just focus on the scalable shit. Like, we'll sell $1,000 course to 1,000 people, and then instantly we don't have to grow another 50 editors for the company to get to that level of profit. So I'm pretty much like locked down the agency for the most part. Let's just focus entirely on this, and then we'll just have optionality. Granted, Paddy is like, it's nice because it's kind of like still in the moment, so maybe we want to figure something out. But I think we can just be a company that only focuses on short form clips, aka clipped.
The fear there is the Lindy effect, right? Clips have been around short form has been around for 2 years. We can expect it to be around for another 2 years. Just going off of the Lindy effect.
My view on it is storytelling has been around for 5,000 years. The duration of those stories, this is like better, because with a YouTube video that, say, your vlog that's 5 minutes, or this podcast that's an hour, it's like you can get away with a lot of shit the whole time. I was mad this morning because I'm like, this edit is so amazing, but the first 3 seconds feels like I have shitty audio and video. Like, I get the effect we're going for, but I think it's going to scare a lot of people away. It's like, you can't fuck anything up in a 30-second video. That's why I'm time cutting down to the literal millisecond. So I'm like, all right, yeah, no matter the format, like, video has been around for 100 years. I'm not concerned about Lindy.
Because you're thinking about, your Lindy effect is thinking about storytelling.
Right. I'm like, this is
Which,
going to be around
okay,
forever.
packaged differently, but storytelling has been around for 5,000 years. Will be around for another 5,000
Right.
years.
So what are we getting good at? We're not getting good at shooting TikToks. We're getting good at telling stories. Like, if we can be the best in the world at stories, people are always going to buy courses for that.
Yep.
Hey, so that's all I got.
Garden.